Go ahead and get started so we can get through everything and maybe even get you guys out of here a little bit earlier. We have a lot to get through today, and for those of you who've been in my classes before, you know I like to stay super organized. So every day that you guys come in, there will be something on the board for you to do. I call that the do now. So there will be an assignment. There will be something up there for you to do. Right now, I just ask that you make sure that your cell phone is silenced, put it away, and get a piece of paper out. If you do not have paper, I have some that you can borrow. And make sure that you write your name at the top of the paper. If you need a pen or a piece of pen or a pencil, I have some extras up here. I can loan those to you. Okay? So the things that we're going to get through today, we are going to do some introductions. I want you guys to get to know me a little bit better, and I want to get to know you a bit better as well. So we are going to go through, and I'm going to introduce myself, and I want to hear a little bit about each of you. We are going to spend the majority of time talking about the syllabus. So the syllabus is the guide to the course, and that is going to be the ins and outs of how the course will be run. So I want to go through that and make sure that I answer any questions that you guys may have. We will go through an overview of the room, of the course, and kind of how things are going to be run, and that should be very quick before we get to the exit ticket. Okay? So first of all, we will go through some introductions. Good? Do you need another piece of paper? Because you're going to have to write.
I got the paper that you gave.
Okay, you still have it? Okay.
Yes.
If you need to sit at a desk, there are a few spots. Just heads up, I apologize. Our rooms we are packed. It's my last class, every seat was taken. The second hour class, all but one seat was taken. So the classes are packed. This one isn't so packed, so you don't have to smell each other super close. And hopefully it won't be as sweaty as the other classes, but the classrooms are packed. I apologize for that. If anybody saw English 4 across the hall, whoo, that was amazing. Okay, so we're going to go through the introductions. Just pay attention. I want to hit some notes that I think are going to be significant for you. So a little bit about me first. Those of you who don't already know, my name is Mrs. Warner. And we're going to talk about my name, but we're also going to talk about my maiden name. And we're doing that because every class session, I will record the class sessions, and then I will post them on YouTube. So my YouTube channel, hi. Oh, they've done that a lot. So my YouTube channel is my maiden name. So my maiden name was Martha Boer. So if you happen to miss a class and you want to review the video for the class, it is just, I'm recording it right now, and it's just the PowerPoint and my voice going. So take it for what it's worth, but you can go to my YouTube channel, and it's going to have the class sessions. So if you missed something or you want to review something, you took some notes, but you don't really understand your notes, so you want to go back and listen to it, then you can do that. My YouTube channel is under my maiden name. Okay? The only thing on that YouTube channel are videos of my husband racing and me teaching. So it's the most boring YouTube channel probably ever, but you can go to it. Okay? So a little bit about me. That's what I look like. That's also what I look like, just when I put my hair up. In case you ever forget. So I was born and raised in Kokomo. I graduated from Kokomo in 1995, so we just had our 20-year reunion. Unfortunately, I'm the chair of that committee. I'm glad it's over with, and I don't have to worry about it for another 5 years. I didn't have money to go to school, so I chose to move to Chihuahua, Mexico. I lived in Chihuahua for a while, about 6 months. I loved it there. I was fluent in Spanish at the time, very fluent. I lived there. It was wonderful, beautiful weather. But I didn't have money, so I chose to move to New Jersey, because, why not? I lived in New Jersey as a nanny for a while.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean
I lived in New Jersey and I worked as a nanny for a while until I could get a job in New York. So I was an actress in New York for a little while, very little, like 2 months, because I'm not that good at it. So I lived there for a little while. I was an actress, not very successful, and then I moved back to Kokomo. I'm definitely a Kokomo girl at heart. My family's here. I met the father of my kids back in 1996. He's a piece of work, but we make beautiful children. So he paid for me to go to school, and he and I started going for Spanish education. So I actually wanted to teach high school Spanish, love the language, love language altogether. And when I transferred, so I started it at Ivy Tech, and then when I transferred to IUK, I had a professor who was kind of crazy. She was like Robin Williams and Dead Poets Society. She actually jumped on the table one time, and she was like tiny, little. So she could do that. It was great. She was just wonderful. And she helped me see that I have a way of explaining things. So I have this ability to explain things in, some people call it layman's terms. I have abilities to get people to understand things that others may not be able to. So that is kind of where I shine. In addition, I've had a lot of difficulties myself. I am dyslexic, so for me, reading has always been horrible. For me, it swims. So my form of dyslexia, it just moves. So when I open up a novel, if I open up a book, everything's swimming. So I physically get sick. I vomit when I'm reading. So it has to be the right environment for me to even read. Back when I was in elementary school, back in the 80s, they just said, well, you're dumb, just go away. And they put you in classes, and that was kind of it. You were just labeled, and you were done. But I had some really amazing teachers who helped me, and they helped me learn to deal with that. So I am dyslexic, so I don't always enjoy reading, but I also know how to overcome issues like that. I have always loved writing. I am a really good liar. So for me, writing and creating stories has always just been something that's really easy. My daughter's the same way. She's not good at lying to me, but she's really good at making up stories. I was the same way. I loved writing ever since I was little, and you couldn't always understand it, but I loved it. So writing has always been something that I've enjoyed a lot of. So I went to school and I changed my major from Spanish education to English education. So I got a bachelor's degree in English in 2006 from IUK. At that point, I had 4 kids. I told you we were good at making names. So I had 4 kids. Their dad and I, we split when I was 7 months pregnant for the 4th child. He has some issues, so we'll just give it that. But he has some major issues. So we had 4 kids, and my kids are kind of my world. They always have been. They're great kids, and I'll introduce you to them here in just a second. When I graduated in 2006, I started teaching at Taylor Middle School. I loved it. I love the psychotic nature of middle school kids. They're like crazy. They hate you. They love you. They don't know what they want. They smell funny. It's just great. I loved it, but I was the last one in, so I was the first one out when budget cuts came. So I moved to Plymouth, Indiana. When I was in Plymouth, Indiana, I was teaching high school. Loved it. They were getting to know themselves. They were getting to know each other. They were working. They were trying to balance things. It was great. Loved it. But I was the last one in, so first one out. I did move back to Kokomo at that point, and I decided to go back to my old standby. I was a waitress at Ducky's for off and on for 15 years. So I was good at that, and so I went back to that, and while I was doing that, I went back to school. So raising 4 kids by myself, and going to school full-time, and master's classes too, which is, that's very difficult. And I was also working full-time. I balanced all of those, and I also met who's the guy who's now my husband. So Mike is my husband now. We knew each other from middle school. I'm going to flip the light. I'm going to flip the light off so you can hear it or see it. Mike is my husband. We were in middle school together. We hadn't seen each other in years. He had kind of gone off and done his own thing, including having her. That's my stepdaughter, Madison. She's not my favorite person in the world. She's not very nice. at all.
Trials you.
She's, what's that?
She trials you.
No, everybody. So Mike's daughter is Madison. My son Coy is 16. He's a runner. He's a giant too. He's like 6'3". My son Drew is my welder and my entrepreneur. We'll call him that. He buys things and then he resells them for 3 or 4 times the price. So he just turned 14. He's got a truck because why not? He paid $350 in a lawnmower they found in the garbage for it because he's smart.
He's a con artist.
He's not a con artist. He's
He's
smart.
Yeah,
He's smart.
if you sell it for triple times of what
And he hasn't sold it. And then my daughter May, my mini me, she's a volleyball player. She is 13. And my little guy Wyatt, he will be 11 next month. Wyatt has some special needs, so he has some speech delays. He has some fluency issues. He doesn't read well. He's in 5th grade, but he has the mentality of probably a 3rd grader, 2nd or 3rd grader. And then my baby, Roxy. Roxy is my Italian Mastiff. She is my baby. She just had her final litter, so she had a couple litters with this guy. So this is my husband's dog, Sarge. I thought I'd give him some credit here. So Sarge is our dum-dum dog. Roxy's the smart one. Yeah,
Some
he is.
these are good.
Yeah. So my
Yeah.
he is. He's a dinky dog.
Yeah.
I love this picture, and that's why I chose this picture because it really shows his expression.
She a pretty dog. It's a pretty dog, though. Pretty dog.
So in May, about 4 months ago, my husband Mike and I, we got married. Thank you.
It is.
We have been together for 7 years. We thought, hey, why not? So we got married, and then we chose to go to Italy on our honeymoon. So I wanted to show you guys a couple of those pictures because they're awesome. You guys will see some of these pictures and some of Greece when we get to the Greek unit. My friend Leo and his partner were in Greece at the same time that we were in Italy. So this is Capri. This is Positano. So that's actually the same ocean. It's just a dirty area.
What's the different town that you was in from the first one to the second?
Yeah, you see that backpack on my back? Yeah, we backpacked.
Yeah, y'all do it big, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was crazy. So we were up here with our backpacks. We walked up there. This is Positano, so we got in here, and then it took us hours. This is that same place, but in the morning. We also went to Dolomite. So this is the Italian side of the Alps. The Swiss Alps are over here, and the Austrian Alps are over here. You can't see those. We also went to Venice. So a lot of really cool places. We enjoyed it. And when we came back, I had to find a new job because I had been working for about 5 years at Ivy Tech. But I was the last one. But guess what happened to me? So I spent the last 5 years teaching developmental reading and developmental writing at Ivy Tech, as well as English 111 once I finished my master's degree, which I did in 2012. I finished my master's degree, and my master's degree is essentially in teaching English. High school, college, middle school, whatever. Anything English, I can teach. So I was at Ivy Tech for about 5 years. I was in Logansport. I loved Logansport. It's a gorgeous campus, wonderful people. Kokomo is okay. The people aren't as amazing as they are in Logansport. But I spent 5 years there, but when we had some budget cuts, and I was the last one in, so I was the first one out. So I joined the Excel team because Nick, the director, was teaching a dual credit class, and he met me because I had to do his evaluation. So I was evaluating the guy who's now my boss. So networking is a huge deal to me, and it has got me most of the jobs that I've been able to survive on and to help my family on. So I've been working here. This is my 2nd term here, but I'm definitely not new to teaching English. So I've been doing it for a really long time, and I really enjoy it. Watch your eyes for a second. I'm going to flip the light back on. So now I want to know a little bit about you. So using your best writing skills. I'm going to have you guys write some sentences about yourself. So for those of you who are in my Writing 3 class, I asked you to write a paragraph. I don't want a paragraph. I just want 3 to 5 sentences.
Just let me stop.
3 to 5 sentences about yourself.
That's a paragraph.
It can be.
35 sentences is a paragraph.
So what I need to know your name. So you should already have your name at the top of the paper, but if you prefer to be called by something else, like my son's name, I have one son, his name is Austin, but we've always called him Coy, which is a shortened version of his middle name. I have a Drewy, but we call him Drew. So whatever your name that you prefer to be called by, let me know. I want to know what your goals are for being here. So I have a lot of students who are here so they can get their high school diplomas, so then they can go into the military. Let me know. If you are here so you can get your high school diploma so you can get a job at Chrysler, let me know. If you're here because you want to move on to something else, let me know what that is. What is your focus after you complete your degree from the Excel Center? And I also want any questions or concerns that you may have. So give me 3 to 5 sentences about yourself. You're not going to read your sentences to anybody, so tell me whatever you want to tell me.
We turn in so we read them, or we
Nope.
wait for next time?
You're going to wait for next sentence.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the college over by
Gateway? IBT?
Gateway? I guess it's gonna make it. Yeah. No. Over by like Kroger and
That's IUK.
IUK. Okay.
take a couple of minutes and finish this up.
It's like a good purpose, guys.
Yes. Well, we actually have space to breathe. That's pretty nice.
That is really nice.
Last hour we had one empty chair.
One.
No, the second hour one empty chair. Last hour one.
Oh, yeah?
A lot of money.
It is a lot of lives. See you guys in a little bit.
Okay.
Have fun, guys. Alright, yeah.
Okay, guys, so what we're going to do, I'm going to have you guys go around and introduce yourselves. So for those of you who hate talking in front of each other, I'm so sorry, but you got it. So you don't have to stand up, you don't have to do a dance, you don't have to do anything super fancy. The things I need to know what your name is. Please give me first and last name because I need to check you in on my roster so I don't count you absent. So when you tell me your name, give me what is listed on my roster, but also tell me what you prefer to be called. Exceptions to this. I will not call you Tarzan. I will not call you Grand Supreme Lord of All. I've had those requests before. I will call you a version of your name, middle name, something like that. Okay? And then tell us anything that you want us to know. So if you want us to know that your goal after you complete your time at the Excel Center, then let us know that. If you want us to know how many kids you have, or if you're pregnant, you want us to know that, then let us know. Whatever it is that you want us to know, let us know. Okay? All right. Start with you.
I go by my middle name, it's Renee.
Okay.
I have 17 grandkids all in all. 16 are living. We have 2 great grandchildren, a girl and a boy. Me and him together, we have 6 kids total together. There's one. The baby is ours together, but he has 3 and I have 2 from the previous one. But when I finish here, I'm hoping to go to school.
Okay.
For what?
Childcare.
We're teaching childcare is
You got the experience.
39.
Okay.
I'm a Sunday school teacher too.
We don't have to read from the from our paragraphs for the job too.
I'll have to read from the paragraphs. Heather.
I'm Heather White. I just want to get a diploma so I can go back to school for business.
Okay. Amanda?
Yep, that's my name, Amanda. And Jones, it sounds kind of fake, which is funny. I like it like that. My goal for being here is to prepare for college. I got a GED, but that's been almost 20 years ago. So I thought to get my gears turning in the right direction. I've been here, education. I'm a lifelong learner. I've never done it structurally before, so application, and I have a diverse amount of interests, and I don't plan on pursuing any one particular avenue. So.
Okay. Thank you. Ready?
My name is Marta Perez, and I struggle with English. I'm learning English, and it's the first time I'm in school again because I dropped out when I was 15. I'm 52 now. I'm a grandma, but I want to get my high school diploma.
Okay. Thank you. Ready?
My name's Cassie. After this, I'm gonna go to college to be a UI.
Okay. You ready?
My birth name is Margaret, but I go by Maggie. Unless you cannot get my attention. I'm walking down the hallway, my headphones are on, I'm going to scream.
Okay. The mom name out.
Yes.
Okay.
After this, I'm going to go to Rude's. They already have a $7,500 scholarship for me. Waiting. I just want to make people feel good about themselves, and that's how I do hair. So.
Okay.
My daughter's always got some wacky hairdo when she's around me, so wacky hairdo days. My thing.
Okay. Thank you. Ready?
My name is Oliver, and after I graduate here, I'll go to IUK for auto translates. I would say I really don't do this.
You want to speak for what? You want to speak for what? Out of what?
Alvin back the room. So. Lexi.
My name's Lexi.
Lexi does not want to talk. For now. Okay.
What's your name?
My name's Linda Kelly. I come here to get my high school diploma. I would like you to be work on computers or be a nurse when I get out of here.
Okay. Thank you. Ready?
Yeah, my name's Nicole. That's it.
Okay.
That's mine.
Nicole, what's your last name again?
Steele.
Thank you.
Yes, sure myself.
Great. Okay. Jason?
Jason Nichols, and favorite color is red.
My favorite color is pink.
Okay, you ready?
My name's Joseph. After I get through here, I'm going to get my niece mechanics.
Thank you.
My name's Kelsey. I was just recently married back in July. And I just recently auditioned to be on The Voice.
How'd that go?
Really good, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What?
I was in choir all the way up through
Can you
middle school. And
Blow us something. Blow something.
I just got over a sinus infection. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
But it's not gonna work. I'll be a nurse.
Okay.
You've got plans. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
My
Ready?
name's Shelley, and I was from Harris School, and jump out of
My son wants to
That
thank
doesn't
you.
sound too bad.
Justin, what's your last name?
So you should no. Hey, want to jump out?
Yeah, I know why you want to go to the military.
What's your last name on there?
You can jump out the plane.
What's your
You can be a daredevil.
the four?
Yeah, that's what they have here. Is that your maiden name?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your last name then?
Baca. B-A-C-A.
Okay, gotcha.
My name's Angelica Ligon.
What?
Angelica Ligon.
That's a cool name.
I like to be called Teddy. It's short for him and me.
I got you, man.
Oh,
Right.
keep it close, dude.
And I wanna, after I finish school here, I wanna go to school for drug and alcohol counseling and to be a nurse. I'm gonna do both because it helps in both. And
Okay, thank you. Ready?
Hi, I'm Sarah Dozier. I'm here to get my high school diploma to move forward and make money.
Alvin.
Tell me the date, Joe.
My name is Alvin, but I prefer to go by Dino. And I'm looking to graduate and go to college for 4 years for business management and hopefully open a shop.
Okay,
So that's good.
thank you, sir. Ready?
Carly Anderson. And I'm just here to get my diploma and get my life on insurance.
Yeah, I'm
Okay, so I wanted you guys to get to know each other a little bit. You will start to see that throughout this class, we're going to be doing some group work. You guys will be working together, but most of those assignments will be made by me. I need to know a little bit more about who you are and about your skills and how you work. So a lot of the beginning of this course will be me figuring those things out, so I can pair you up or match you up with others who you're able to work with and work well with. So as we go through this course, or the information for the course, a lot of what we're going to be doing is going to help me identify who you're going to work well with and who you're not going to work well with. So if you're talking to someone obsessively, you may not be paired with that person because obviously there's too much chatter that's going on there. If you have a personal conflict with others, make sure you let me know, and then I will make sure that I don't put you in a group with that person. Okay? So what we're going to do now is go through the course syllabus. As we go through the course syllabus, we're going to answer any questions that you guys have about the course itself. And we are going to go through how you're going to be graded in this class. We'll go through how the class will be run. We will go through any questions that you have as well. Yep. They are different from the other class. They are different from last term, if you were in my class last term.
Okay. So you try to switch up on that, so you don't have the same information.
So, for those of you who have been through this class before,
she needs one.
You need to get through this class. This is the last time that English 3 and Writing 3 will be offered separately. So next term, it's going to be a blocked class. So the way that math classes are, they are blocked, so you have them for 2 periods. English 3 and Writing 3 are going to be blocked in that same way. So if this term you don't get through the English 3 class, the next term you're going to have to take a block of classes. So for those of you who are currently in English 3 and Writing 3, whatever, it's the same thing, essentially. But for those of you who are just needing the English 3 or just needing the Writing 3 as in my other classes, next term, those two will be mixed, and you won't be able to take one and not the other. So you guys need to get through this class as much as possible. So the information in this is going to help you be successful in doing that. At the top, you're going to see my name. I go by Mrs. Warner. I'm not your friend, not your pal, so call me Mrs. Warner, please. My name is listed up there. It is also at the top here. If you ever need to know how to spell it, it'll be listed up there. Right below that, you see my email address. My email address is just mwarner@excelcenter.org. It is listed up there. It is also listed here. You also have my cell phone number. So lock my number in your phone. If you ever have an issue, if you are ever going to be late or you're going to miss a class, please let me know. Please let me know as early as possible when you may have to miss a class. Okay?
Would you rather us text or call?
Either one is fine. Texting will usually get you a quicker response, but you can call as well. Email is usually the quickest response out of all of those. I do not have my phone out during the day. So from 9 to 4, Monday through Thursday, I don't have my phone out, so I'm not going to look at that. But my texts go to my email, and then my emails go to my email. So I can email those. If you guys are working on something, I'll check those usually. So I get those more quickly.
Might as well tell them no 10 o'clock, no past 10 o'clock calls.
Yeah, please don't be obnoxious. Just please. I have kids. I have dogs that have to go out every freaking night in the middle of the night. So please don't call me at 2 o'clock in the morning. You can send me a text because my phone won't go off. But don't call me at 2 o'clock in the morning. 10 o'clock at night is okay, but 11 o'clock is fine. 6 o'clock in the morning is my least favorite time, so please don't go that early in the morning. But my contact information is listed up here, and I want you guys to have many forms to contact me because I do need you guys to constantly keep communicating with me. I'm going to be here and help you guys as much as possible, but I need you to work with me as well. So you will see the course description there. This course counts for 2 credits. This class is a world history credit and an English credit. So you're going to get a history credit. For those of you who already have a history credit, this grade will typically replace that. So I have a lot of students who have a D- in their world history, and their teacher was just trying to get them out of there so they don't have to deal with them again. So they have a D-. Well, then they get an AMI class, so then that A replaces that D-, and it brings your GPA up. So if you don't have a world history credit, this will be your world history credit. If you have a world history credit but it's a really low grade, then this grade will replace that. Now if you got an A in it, then I'm not going to take that A and give you a D or a C or whatever you're going to do. Okay?
That'd be kind of cool.
It would be. And you also get a world literature credit. So this class is history and it is English. It is reading, comprehension, and it is history. It is those two things. So know that, be aware of that. I have a lot of students who really struggle with that. They say, why are we doing all this history crap? Because this is a world history class, as well as a world literature class. So the course learning objectives are listed there. Just to note, for those who have been here in the past we used to give one credit or the other, but not necessarily both. Last term they locked that, so if you either get no credits in here or you get 2 credits in here. So there's no 1 credit. That used to be, but it's no longer. The course learning objectives. So we are going to be focusing on main idea. We're going to focus on claims and evidence. We're going to focus on writing in different formats. But the writing that you guys do in here is all meant to help you with ECA prep. So the ECA is the exam that if you haven't already taken it and passed it, you have to take in order to get your diploma. So many students may have credits, but they need ECA prep. So this class will prepare you for the ECA. So for those of you who have been in my class before, what we did at the end of last term, we're going to be doing at the beginning. So at the beginning of the term, I'm going to work with you guys on test-taking skills and reading strategies. Those are going to be our focuses. Those focuses will be through historical materials. So we're going to get the history in, but we're going to be looking at active reading strategies that will help you in understanding materials. And we're going to focus on testing and test-taking skills. We are going to look at vocabulary. We're going to look at developing stamina in reading, so you can sit and you can read something and you can understand it. So those reading strategies. And we are going to have some work on writing conventions. So we'll talk about that later on. Methods of evaluation. So your assessments in here. You're going to have weekly vocabulary quizzes. Those vocabulary quizzes are made up of 5 words. The 5 words that you have for your vocab are words that you are going to apply in the coursework. So I don't just pull out words that are just from a dictionary or something like that. I don't do that. I use words that you're going to use and you're going to experience and that you're going to interact with. Skills and strategies. Those assessments, including the midterm and the final exam and any tests that we do along the way, that will make up 65% of your overall grade. The projects that we do. The projects that we do in this class are making up 20% of your grade. So for those of you in the past who've been in here and you've done packets, we're getting rid of the packets. So instead, we're going to be doing project stuff. So we're going to be using glue sticks. We're going to be using colored paper. We're going to be creating projects. Yes, it's going to be more project-based learning. So an example of this, on the back wall behind Alvin, you see some posters. Now these posters were individual posters that students had to do for their final project, one of their final projects. You guys are going to be doing things like that, but you're going to be doing more of those things than previously we just had packets where you read it and answered questions. So you're going to be doing more of this stuff. Okay? Those projects will make up 20% of your grade. These are based on the novels.
What is this?
It's a swastika. Because they read a novel about the Holocaust.
We need to tear this poster down. It's real.
So the daily activities will make up 15% of your grade. So let me say this a couple of times because I had a student get so mad at the second hour that he stormed out. And I opened the door for him and I closed the door out. So 15% is going to be all the stuff that we do in class that cannot be made up. So if you are 15 minutes late to class, you don't get to make up the do now. The do now is 5 points. That goes into a 15% category. So in the end, it's not going to kill your grade if you don't do the daily activities. You can still pass the class and never do a daily activity. Now you're going to have to do really, really well in all the other areas, but you can still pass the class. So the daily activities is just 15% of your overall grade. Okay?
15% count.
It does count, and it can make the difference between a D and an F. It does make that difference. So you want to do everything that you can. I will also tell you guys, and we'll talk about this more here in just a minute, everything that we do in here is not meant to torture you, because I love to do that. It is really meant to help you guys with a skill or strategy, or it's meant to help me gauge where you guys are at with that skill or strategy. Okay? Any questions so far?
We gonna do like any writing in this course though?
You're gonna do one essay. You still do one essay in here.
So will we be like just covering majority of just world history, like the world history type stuff?
It's similar to what it was last term. Mm-hmm.
Okay. We did a lot of writing though last time.
Mm-hmm. A lot of little stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So when I want you guys to think about this class as more constructed responses than writing. So when we talk about constructed responses, you may have a reading passage and then you have a short constructed response that you have to include some evidence from the passage. That's what we're focusing on here. Okay? The grading guidelines are listed there. It's pretty standard. You can look over that later. Expected materials. So you need to bring in a writing utensil every day. It's school. That's what we do. If you have a notebook or the ability to get a notebook or some paper, I would suggest that you guys have something to write in and keep with you every day. I would also suggest that if you have the ability to, that you get a binder. The binder will help you stay organized, and that's going to help you as you go through the rest of your classes as well. So some suggestions on materials: get extra writing utensils. Make a note, no purple pens. I grade in purple, so don't use purple pens. Get another color.
That's a cheat code.
You can do pink, you can do green, you can do black, blue. Pencil, just no purple. Okay? That's my favorite color. Alright, general course policies. So this is the stuff people don't usually like. So in this course, I expect you guys to act like adults. That's the expectation. This is an adult high school, so if you're here, you have made that conscious decision that you are mature enough to be here, so I expect you to act accordingly. And in doing so, I have some guidelines for you. So I ask you to be brave. And I mean this in a couple of ways. So my brother, my husband, both have GEDs, and my brother's is from the jailhouse. So, yeah. So I think he printed it himself. Like, honestly, I think he probably printed it himself. My brother didn't do anything. My brother is really smart. My brother is so intelligent. My husband is so intelligent. My husband is a mechanic at a machine shop. These dudes are really, really smart, but they didn't have the endurance to stay in school. There is no way. My brother asked me if I would help him get in here. I was like, hell no. I would kill you if I had seen no. But my husband, there's no way that he could take this experience on. He doesn't have the ability to withstand being in these class settings. I know that he would probably go off on every teacher in here, including me. So there is no way that he could do that. There are a lot of people out there who still aren't where you guys are at. So I commend you on being here, and you are brave for being here. It is not easy to come into this environment and say, I dropped out when I was 15, and here I am at 44 or 54. I'll make you 44. You can be 44. Right? So here I am.
I'll be 54.
There you go. It's not easy to make those decisions, but you guys have. So in doing that, I expect you guys to do some things. So first of all, believe in yourself. You are here because you have the endurance and the ability to be here. I am going to ask you guys to try things. Things that you may not like. I'm going to ask you to do things that you may not like to do. It's not going to put you in any kind of compromising situation, but I will ask you guys to experiment with something that you may not have done before. So I want you guys to try things. The other thing is I need you guys to be respectful. And by being respectful, this is not just towards me, but it's towards anybody who is in here. So I want you guys to listen when other people are talking. If someone has a question, raise your hand, I'll call on you, and I expect everybody to listen to that person's question. Just be respectful of each other. Don't talk over each other. Don't talk when someone else is talking. Just basically don't be a jerk. That's what I want. Don't be a jerk. If other people have beliefs that are different from yours, you don't need to voice your belief. If that's going to cause conflict, you don't need to voice that. Okay? I also would caution you guys to be very careful with the things that you say. So, second period, I had a student who was talking about opening his shop, and he was like, yeah, you heard about it already?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so he was talking about opening his shop, and he was talking about having his monkeys work for him. He was saying grease monkeys. Yeah.
What would you think of a monkey to work for you?
Grease monkeys, and it's a term. It's something that people who work in garages say.
You got everything else.
But not really the best wording. So I want you guys to be very aware that things that you say can set off other people. So start to be aware of those things. Start to be very careful with the way that you word things.
Don't we do debate in this class?
No, they don't. No. You can debate with me.
We may not win, huh?
You are not going to win, probably.
I'm against
All right.
caster.
The respect is my biggest pet peeve. So if you're disrespectful, I have no problem asking you to leave. I'll open the door for you. I'll slam it after you just to emphasize. Just be respectful. That's all I ask. Asking questions. So I don't know what you don't know. You need to tell me what you don't know or what you don't understand. So sometimes there are going to be things that you have to do, and you don't like them, and you don't want to do them, and you're really, really stubborn, and you don't do them. But you could. You just don't want to do them. There are going to be times that, I know, you know, there are going to be times that you just don't understand something. If you don't understand something, I can help you do that. I can help you fix that. If you're just being stubborn and not doing it, then let me know that, because then I can tell other people who then get on your case about not doing it. I have no problem with that either. So ask me questions. Make sure if you're confused by something that you're asking questions. I don't know what it is that you're missing. Valuing yourself. So we are here because we care about education. If you're not here because you care about your education, then I'll open the door and you can go. You are here in this learning environment, so I expect you guys to be respectful of each other. Other people are here for the same reason. So if you're not here, if you don't put a value on your education, then don't waste our time.
That's right.
Enthusiastically entering the class. So when I talk about enthusiastically entering the class, it doesn't mean skip in here every day, even though you can. It means a couple of things. So first of all, when you come in, I need you guys to be ready to learn. If you have a problem getting materials, that's one thing. But if you are just lazy and you don't bring your materials, that's a whole other issue. So bring your materials every day. If you're one who tends to leave things in places and you lose things, let me know and we'll figure something out. When you come in, do not cross this threshold unless you have your music turned off and your cell phone is put away. So I don't want you coming in here with your earbuds and jamming out. Your music may be amazing, but I don't want to hear it. So don't cross this threshold unless you are ready. I would also ask that you guys not come in until the passing period. The class starts at 2:30, and I had that written down here a couple of times to remind you. It starts at 2:30, so try to come in between 2:25 and 2:30. There may be occasions that I have the door open. My first period class is my Read 180 class, so I have students across the hall and in here. just because my door is open and just because I'm going from one room to another doesn't mean that that's the appropriate time for you to have a conversation with me. At the end of the day is probably the best time for you guys or during lunch. Just try not to come into class too early, because my other class is huge. It is every single class or every single seat is taken up, and there are a lot of bodies in there. So just know that the door may be open occasionally. Just don't walk in, okay? Class decorum. So under class decorum, you're going to see cell phones. So this one is a big one for me, not just because I'm a teacher and I want to see that you respect me, but because I have work jobs where you can't have your cell phone out. So I expect you guys to put your cell phones away. If you have extra time and you want to get your cell phone out, that's fine. If you have a situation going on, please let me know ahead of time if you have your cell phone out. But do not talk on your phone in this class. In this room, do not talk on your phone or into your phone. It says right there. Never talk on your phone or into your phone in this class. So if you have something going on, we have a couple of pregnant ladies in here. So let's say your doctor's calling you. Miss Beth, if you guys know that she's about to pop any day, hopefully soon, get that kid out. So if your nurse is calling you and you have to take that call, have your phone out, have it on vibrate, and let me know before class starts. Hey, my nurse is going to call. I may have to step out for a moment. And then step out and step away from the door. We don't need to hear about your mucus plugs and all your stuff. We don't need to hear any of that, okay? So step away from the door and have your conversation. But do not talk on the phone in class. Okay, so just as long as you take it out. Okay. So a couple more things here. We do expect you guys just to be able to feel comfortable enough to present your information or present your ideas. We are going to be talking about things in this class that may get a little bit personal. An example, we have a swastika on the board in the back. That's not everybody's favorite thing to see, but it's there for a purpose. So that may be something that we talk about. That novel is a really difficult novel for a lot of people to read because of it's night.
Somebody did that intentionally. You ain't gotta put it just because you ain't gotta put that up there, man.
It was all about the Holocaust, so it is there for a purpose. It's absolutely there for a purpose. So there are things that you may see or hear, just like grease monkeys, that may not come off appropriately. They may not make you feel comfortable. Just know that we're going to try our best to minimize those conversations. If something does happen, we will deal with it as needed, but we want to try to be respectful of everybody else. Plagiarism and cheating. So cheating is something that I don't stand for, but I'm kind of mean about it. So if I see you cheating on your test, I'm going to let you finish it, and then I'm going to give you a 0. I know. I like that. I'm going to tell you, and I will. And I will tell you that you got a 0, and I will tell you why you got the 0. If you do decide to cheat, know that I'm going to catch you, because I have mom eyes all around. Also know that if you're going to cheat off of somebody who's probably smarter than you. Don't cheat off of somebody who's going to give you the wrong answers. That happened a lot last term. But don't cheat. You're really just cheating yourself out of the opportunity to learn and understand the information. Okay. There are times, an example, on the final exam. So I went through the final exam for my last term, and there was one question that 19 out of 20 students got wrong. I was like, well, that question needs to go away. But there was one student who got it right, so I know that somebody understood it in some way, but the majority of people didn't. So if I see things like that, if I see patterns like that, then I'm going to pick up those patterns. But if you're cheating and that one person that got it right, then everybody at their table got it right because they were looking at their paper, well, now that question's in because 5 people got it right instead of 19, or 5 people got it right instead of 1. Yes. Yep, absolutely. Plagiarism is a bigger deal, but we won't have opportunities for you guys to plagiarize in here, so we won't worry too much about that. Assignments. So assignments are due when they're due. If it's due at the beginning of class starts at 2:30. If you bring it in at 2:35, it's late. So just know that. You can turn in things late, but it's a 10% deduction per day it's late. So if it's 2 days late, then that's 20%. 5 days late is 50%, which is an F, but you can still get points for that. I will have due dates set. This is the last date that you can turn this assignment in. That's usually going to be 10 days after the original assignment was due. So because at that point it's 100% off, so you get no points for it. There are some assignments that you cannot make up, like your due now or exit ticket. You cannot make those things up. So if you're 10 minutes late to class, you missed the due now, that's 5 points. That goes into a category of 15%, so you just missed those. If you leave early, you don't get the exit ticket. So you just missed 5 points. That goes into a category of 15 points. You're not going to fail the class.
Or if you have to leave early for it.
You still miss it. Yep. Attendance is crucial. Make sure that if you have any issues with attendance that you let me know. If you have appointments, try to make those on Fridays as much as you possibly can. I have a doctor that's constantly busy, so there's no way that I could get in to see him on a Friday. If you're going to miss something, if you're going to miss a class, then make sure you let me know as early as possible. Fridays are meant for you guys to come in and make anything up. I will tell you guys, I'm usually here from 9 to noon on Fridays. If you need some individualized instruction or if you need to make something up, Fridays from 9 to noon are usually the best times to do that. We have meetings in the afternoon, so after 1 is almost completely booked, and we try to take lunch when we need to. So from 9 to noon on Fridays, that's a good day to come in and make up anything if you need to. So you get 4 absences in the class. After that, you have to meet with your coach, and you guys have to determine if this is going to be a term that you need to take off. Maybe you can't be in this class. Maybe you need to readjust your schedule. So try to minimize your absences as much as possible. Now, the tardy policy is one that is going to be very strict. For those of you who have been in my class before, this is different. For those of you who haven't experienced this, welcome. So the first time that you are late to a class, you're going to come in and I'm going to give you a note card. On that note card, you need to write your name, the date, and why you're late. And then I'm going to give you the mom look. You know that. And I'm going to have you put it in this box over here. It is not going to count against you, but you will not be able to do the do now again. Yep.
You already knew that it was going to be late. Is it going to count against us?
You won't be able to make up the do now,
Right.
but it's not like it's going to count against you in your grade. 5 minutes late, and 10 minutes late, and 20 minutes late, it's all the same. So the class starts at 2:30. If you, let's say you have to use the restroom. If you have to use the restroom, drop your stuff off, let me know, I gotta use the restroom. Get over there as quickly as possible and then get back here. Okay? So the first time I'm going to give you a card, you're going to write your name, you're going to write the date, you're going to write why you're late, you're going to put it in there, I'm going to give you the mom look, we're going to go on.
In the purple box?
Yes. The second time that you're tardy, I'm going to give you the card, you're going to fill in your name, the date, you're going to explain why you were late, and I'm going to remind you, hey, this is your second tardy. The third time that you're late, you're going to get the card, you're going to fill in your name, you're going to fill in the date, the reason that you were late, and then I'm going to refer you to your coach. So at that point, your coach is going to call you in, and they're going to look at all of your excuses, why you're late, and they're going to say, oh, I see a pattern here. This is why you're late every time. Or they're going to look at it and go, okay, well, you've had some run of bad luck this term. Maybe we need to do something about this. At that point, you will not be allowed back in this class until you are on time or you have signed a contract with your coach and me. So if you, the third tardy, you've met with your coach, you've talked to your coach, you guys have figured some things out, and you come in late again, then you and your coach, you're not going to be allowed in the class, you're not going to be allowed to do the material for that day, and you and your coach are going to sit down and you are going to talk about what needs to happen to help you be successful. So you're going to sign a contract with your coach, you're going to have to meet with me and your coach. The contract, basically it says that you will not miss any more classes and you will not be late for any more classes. If you don't abide by that, so if you're late or you miss a class, then you're not allowed in the class at all for the rest of the term. So I want you guys to know I'm not hardcore, like I'm not the meanest person in the world. If you have to pee, you have to pee. I get it. But this is really about you guys developing good habits and you guys being here so you don't disrupt the rest of the group. When you come in late, and this was a big problem last term, when you come in late, you're disrupting everybody and you're disrupting the learning environment. So do your best to minimize that as much as possible. Okay? Any questions on that? Yes.
I'm just gonna let you know I come straight from Indy to class from work.
Okay.
So I usually get off at enough time, but then there's those things where there's semis and accidents.
Yeah,
But
and construction and all that stuff.
so I'm just letting you know.
Okay, and another alternative for you guys, if you have classes or you don't have a second period class, I do have this class, second period as well. So let's say that you know you're going to be at your doctor's appointment, and your doctor's appointment starts at 3. Well, there's no reason for you to come to class that day, but let's say you don't have a second period class. So you can come to my second period class. Now that's not going to help your situation in any way. But if there are those instances, there are those things that come up, then just let me know and we can work that out. I have a student that will be in this class every Wednesday because he has an appointment during his second period class every Wednesday. So I have no problem working through those things with you. Okay? The class periods are listed there. So my second period class is the English 2. So if you want to highlight period 2 and period 4, those are the same classes. Different groups, very different dynamic. And I will say period 2, I had every seat but one full. So busy, sweating class. So know that. All right, so a couple more things before we head out for the day. If you do miss a class, please let me know as soon as you can. So if you have an appointment, let me know ahead of time. If something happens, just send me a message and let me know. You will not be able to necessarily make up all of the work, but if you've missed a class, you come in and you're going to check your folder. Your folder is period 4 down here, where it says absent. So I had 2 students miss this morning, the first period class. So when they come in tomorrow, I'm going to say, get in the absent folder. They're going to get their materials out of the absent folder. That's all you have to do. So just grab your materials out of your folder, and that's this one down here. The second step in that, after you grab your stuff, check with a classmate to see what you may have missed. Another option is to look at my YouTube channel and look at the videos. The videos take a long time for me to upload because I have to do it from home. They won't upload here. So they take me a while to upload, but you can listen to them, you can review the materials. Finally, you will ask me if you have any questions. Please try to do that at the end of class or at a time where you've already reviewed the material, you know what you've missed. Try not to do that when I'm standing up here talking to everybody. It's not the best time. Also try to do that outside of class time. There's a section there for you to get your classmates' contact information. And then right below that is the ADA statement. So the ADA statement is the American with Disabilities Act. If you have any kind of issues, please let me or Miss Paula know. And Miss Paula is our coordinator. So if you have, let's say you have a learning disability. Let's say that you have a physical disability. Any of those things Miss Paula needs to know and I need to know. If you do have accommodations already with Miss Paula, great. But please let me know that because sometimes things get overlooked on the spreadsheet. If you do not have any accommodations but you feel like you need some, then contact Miss Paula. Her information is listed here. She's at the end of this hallway. You just down this hallway, you just go straight. Hers is at the very end of that. And I can also try to help you as much as possible. So the term 2 dates that I want you guys to remember. Term starts today. We have a long, solid 7.5 weeks. This is going to be a rough one because we don't have any breaks. It's just go, 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 go for 7.5 weeks. Thursday, October 1st is going to be your midterm exam. So you will have an exam that day, so please be here. If you have to miss, try to come to my morning class. If you cannot make it to my morning class, then I want you guys to try to make that up the next day, which is Friday, October 2nd. Wednesday, October 28th is the final exam. Please do your best to be here that day. The final exam is the day before the last day of classes. October 29th, I'm asking that you guys don't even show up. And most of your teachers will say don't even show up that day. That is a day for us to get all of your grades together. Unfortunately, that's also a day that I am putting on a conference in Indianapolis. So I won't even be here the 29th. So don't show up that day. The 28th will be a very important day for you. Okay? All right, any questions over the syllabus? I know there's a lot of information to go through. Really quickly, we're going to go over a couple of other things, just a quick overview of the class and how the class will run and how it will function. And then you guys will have an exit ticket, and then you will be good to go. Not yet, because you're going to have a ticket. Okay? So every day when you guys come in, you guys will grab one of these orange sheets of paper. So the orange sheet of paper is different from the red one. Please grab the orange, not the red. That's my other class. So on this piece of paper, it asks you what your name is, it asks you what the day of the week is, and what the date is. The date will always be listed over here, so make sure you're filling this information in. There will always be a do now on the board. It's what you do when you first get into class. So the first about 10 minutes, there will be an assignment on the board. So when you guys came in today, it said on the board, get a piece of paper out, write your name at the top. Turn your cell phones off, that type of thing. So tomorrow when you guys come in, you're going to grab this orange piece of paper, you're going to fill in your information, and you are going to do whatever the assignment is on the board. The do now is meant to help me understand where you guys are at in certain concepts. So it may be writing sentences. It may be making a list for something. It may be asking you about an assignment that we did the day before. It's going to vary. So once you do that, we are going to, at some point, come together, depending on how long the do now takes. It may take 10 minutes, it may take 5. After that, you guys are going to have vocabulary words. The vocabulary words you need to write down in your notebook. I will also have them over here on this poster. So you don't have to worry about spelling them correctly. They're going to be up here. They're going to be on the test. Every week, we will have 2 words on Monday, 2 words on Tuesday, and then a 5th word on Wednesday, and we'll review all of the words. Again, with vocabulary words, I don't just pull them out of the dictionary. I use words that are going to apply to what you're doing. So we'll do that as a whole class, and then you're going to have some whole class instruction. You will probably have more whole class instruction at the very beginning of the term than you do later on in the term. And then I will set you guys into rotations. So the rotations are going to come later, but you will have 3 different rotations. The rotations are going to be world studies. So that's where you're going to be working on projects. You're going to be reading. So everybody in this class will read a novel by the end of the class. And then you're going to have some small group work. You are going to be traveling in these areas with a group of people. That group of people I will determine, but again, that's based on lexile level, that's based on understanding of material, that's based on group work, that's based on many different things. At the end of the class, you guys will have an exit ticket, which you're going to do here in just a few minutes. That exit ticket is at the bottom of the sheet that you grabbed for your do now. So you have your do now, you have your exit ticket. There may be days that you don't have an exit ticket. There may be days that you don't have a do now. We'll have those as much as possible, but there may be days that we have a hangout, so we can't do those. At the bottom will always be an area for you to ask any questions. So I had a student who always asked me, do you like fish? Do you like house. You just ask me random questions. I'll answer them. So if you have a question, you want to write it down, ask me. If you have a question that relates to material, you can write it down and I'll get it back to you. The back side is just the exact same thing, but it's for you to reuse. So you're going to do this, you're going to turn it in, and then I'm going to hand it back to you, and then you can reuse the back side. Any questions? One last thing before I give you the exit ticket. So this area of the world is kind of my area. So I'm not going to get into your bags and your stuff, so try to stay out of my stuff. I do have extra supplies over here. I do have extra supplies over here as well. My books, if you want to read them, these are my books. I purchased them. My mom's purchased them. Somebody's purchased them. So you can look at them, but please make sure you bring them back. If you want to borrow them, make sure you ask me ahead of time. I do have a shelf back there, a closet back there, and it has a lot of materials in it. So if you have extra materials and you want to bring those in, feel free to bring those in. If you are struggling to get something, make sure you let me know, and I'll do my best to help you with that. So the last thing I have, if you don't have any questions, is your exit ticket. Any questions before we get to that? All right. On the paper where you put your name and you write your sentences about yourself, I want you to make a list of things that you learned today or things you're still confused by. So a couple things here. First of all, I don't want complete sentences. So make this like you would make a grocery list. So these are the things that I learned, these are the things I'm confused by. And then just make yourself some bullets. So make a tick mark, make a circle, whatever you need. On one side, I want 2 things you learned. On the other side, I want 2 things you may be confused by. Now, if you're not confused by anything, yay, I did my job. You can add 4 things that you learned. If you are really confused by a lot of stuff and you don't know that you learned anything, sorry, you're going to put 4 things over there. I need 4 things on your list. So it can be 3 things you learned, 1 thing you're confused by. It can be 2 and 2. It can be 4 of 1. I just need 4 things on that list. Once you're finished with that, you're going to turn that in to me, and you are done for the day.